Hello everybody, welcome back to another Roblox scripting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you guys about the if statement, along with the while loop and for loop, as they are something you really need to understand because you'll be using them a lot in scripting. So, again, what I'll be teaching you guys about today is the if statement, the while loop, and the for loops. Especially the if statement, because those are the things you'll be using a lot. So what we'll be doing is continuing where we left off with this script. Again, if you didn't see my last episode, I highly recommend you check that out. It's where I go over the basics of scripting. If you did check it out, great. So yeah, let's get started with the tutorial. So an if statement, otherwise known as a conditional statement, is something that checks a hypothesis to see if that hypothesis is true. So what I mean by hypothesis, for example, if count equals 3, that's a hypothesis. Count equaling 3 is a hypothesis, I mean. If that statement, if that hypothesis is true, then the lines inside of the if statement will get executed. So I'll show you how to do that. So the way you do an if statement is write if the hypothesis you want. So let's say if count equals 5, and then you write then, hit enter, and it will automatically spawn an end for you. So that's how you end an if then loop, if then statement. The reason why I said I had the hypothesis for count to 5 is because, well, I assigned count to 5 right over here. So you might notice something a little bit different. These two, the two equal signs, make a comparison. If you're in an if statement, in Lua, that's the programming language Roblox uses. If you're writing an if statement, you have to put two equal signs, because those two equal signs make a comparison between the value you're comparing and both values you're comparing, count and 5. So that there is the hypothesis, and that if that turns out to be true, then the code here will get executed. So let's just say we want to print count is 5. So we expect count to be 5. Well, we expect the print statement to print out that print. So yeah, count is 5 right here got passed because of the fact that count is 5. As you see right here, I set it to 5. Now let me show you what happens if I change the value. So let's just say we set it to 10. Okay, so we're changing up its value. So the print, so we don't expect the print statement on line 34 to get passed, because count wouldn't be 5, it would be 10. So unlike before, it didn't print count is 5 or whatever I put there. So yeah, that's something you guys absolutely have to know. So it's basically like a conditional statement. It checks. So let's just recap. The if statement checks a hypothesis, which is something you would write between the if and then hypothesis. And if that hypothesis is true, then the code between would get passed. Now, let's say if count is a different value, but you want something else to happen. So I'll introduce to you guys what else is. So else is another addition to if. So if this hypothesis that the if statement is checking is false, then anything between the else and the end would get executed. So let's just say print count is something different. Alright, so I'm just going to print for you guys the count variable to give you guys a good understanding, because I believe this is really crucial to understand. So yeah, count is something different. Let me just click on that. So this is to help you guys understand that line 34 didn't get passed. If count were to be 5, then it would get passed. However, since it isn't 5, and we have an else, these two lines, 36 and 37, got executed. And let me show you something new. So the reason why, there's something different between the two lines. Line 36, I put quotation marks between the statement, between count is something different statement I put. That's because it is a string. Okay? So this is kind of like a review from second episode, the different types of variables. That's not all I did, but so that's a string. However, since count is a variable, particularly a number variable, we don't put a string. If we were to put a string, line 37 would just print count on the output window. So that's something, you guys, that's to help you understand what's really going on. Alright, so hopefully you guys have a better understanding about the if statement. Now we're going to be moving on to the while loop. Now the while loop is similar to the if-then statement. However, it's a repeating loop. It repeats itself as long as the hypothesis is checking is true. So that's something that's similar to the if statement. So let me show you how to do that. So all you need to do for a while loop, all you do is while any hypothesis you want to write. So let's just say while count is less than 10. The way you do less than and greater than are the angle brackets on your keyboard, and then you write do. So that's how you make. So that's how you create make a while loop. So as long as count is less than 10, then anything between these two lines over here will get passed. So let's just say, I don't know, count. Let's just write a print statement, anything we want. So let's just say print count to 10 for me. Alright, so as long as count is less than 10, then the print statement will print count to 10 for me. And we also need a wait statement as well. The reason being is that it would delay the timing between each print. Let's also print the count variable, so you guys don't get lost. So what else do we need? I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh wait, no. We also need to. Let's comment out this line first of all, and let's make count 0. So count is gonna have 0. So count is gonna be equal to 0. So let's see. Yeah. Alright, so, oh wait, so yeah, as you see, it printed 0 so many times. Oh yeah, I forgot, we need to add count by 1 if we want to the loop to eventually stop. If we don't have that, then it's just going to keep going on forever and ever and ever. Oh, let's just make that 1. And yeah, in order to add, this is kind of like review from from last episode, so let's just say, I don't know, we want to add count by 1. So the way you do it is do count equals count plus 1. So that's how you add a variable. You do the variable equals the variable plus whatever you want it to add it by. So just to recap, it's going to print count to 10 for me. It's going to print the count variable. It's going to add count by 1. And it's also going to wait every time it enters the while loop. So now let's run it and see what happens. So yeah, as you see, let me just expand this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. It actually stopped at 9 because it only goes in the loop as long as it's less than 10. Okay? Same rule applies for equal signs. So a single equal sign assigns a variable. A double equal sign makes a comparison. So if you wanted to do an equal sign instead of a greater and less than sign, you would do two equal signs. Same thing for most loops inside of Lua. That's the programming language Roblox uses. So that was a mouthful. So the final thing we are going to be learning about is the for loop. Now the for loop is similar to the while loop, however, it stores its own variable. Unlike the while loop, where you have to use your own variable in order for it to work. So let me just show you how the for loop works. So all you need to do is just write for any variable you want. Let's just do u. That's just my own liking. So you can declare whatever variable you want inside of the loop, so it will have its own variable ready. All you need to do is just name it whatever you want. So for u equals 1, 15 do. Now let me explain in detail what this does. So for u, the u variable. So basically, the for loop is gonna the code in the for loop is gonna get passed or executed as long as u is within the range as long as the u variable has the value between 1 and 15. So basically, 1 is the least is the lowest number that you can be, and 15 is the highest that you can be in order for the loop to get passed. And the least and most number gets separated by a comma. So let's see. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. I'm not sure if it's going to get passed. So let me just experiment with this. So I don't know. Let's do u equals u plus 1. Again, this is arithmetic. We're going to print u. And then we're going to be doing a, sorry guys, wait 1 second. So so basically this is gonna get passed every second as long as it's within range 1 to 15. So I just wonder if it's gonna get passed or not. Oh, I think the while loop I think gets passed first, and as you see, the numbers are passed by the for loop, especially line 51. Yeah, you know what? Let me just do something real quick and separate the. Let me just separate this with a string. Let me just write many dashes so that you don't get confused with the while and for loop. So we're just going to wait until the while loop finishes. Again, the code goes in order. So if the while loop is active, then it's going to get passed. So as you see, the line here. So now we're starting with the variable, with the u variable. So again, it already has its own variable. All you need to do is just name it. So that's going to get passed. Oh yeah. So I don't know why it's 16, but you kind of get the point. So it really gets passed as long as it's as long as u is within range 1 to 15. I think, guys, it includes 15, so it wouldn't. So it would still get. So I'm pretty sure. Even if u equals 1, the loop would get passed. And if u was 15, it would still get passed, so that's why it's 16. But yeah, this is something that's really important to understand for later videos. So guys, this is the end of the video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. Next video, I plan to go over functions, which is a little bit more advanced. So be prepared for that. But other than that, I will see you later. Bye.